So primary components of the fire pump. What are the primary components of the fire pump? As per NFPA 20, it's a complete fire pump assemblies or packages. It consists of the pump, driver, controller, and other kind of the accessories for different kind of the process and job. And the accessories are peripheral equipment such as jockey pump and means to test the pump, like a jockey pump, the testing equipment, the suction devices, and the discharge devices. Other kind of the equipment like air release valve, pressure relief valve. All those components we are going to discuss under this topic, module third of the fire pump. So normally there are two types of the fire pump. Most of the cases we are using centrifugal pumps in let's say in 80% of the pumping equipment worldwide, they are using the centrifugal pump. Even in the water industry, fire protection system, plumbing works, process industry, gas, and all those kind of things, they are using centrifugal pump for up to 80% to 85% of the facilities. So for the positive displacement pump, in the case where we need higher pressures and less flow, like let's say if you want to inject foam into a water line which is already pressurized with some pressure, right? Use the foam into the system, we need positive displacement pump in a foam system at the higher pressure, which is the higher than the water pressure inside the piping, so that it will go inside the first one. The second application of the positive displacement pump is, you can see this kind of the arrangement at fire trucks, right? The civil defense fire trucks have installed this kind of arrangement for higher pressure requirement. But we are mainly going to talk about the centrifugal pump because we are limited to centrifugal pump only in most of the cases for the fire pumps, whether it's the jockey, diesel, or any kind or electrical pump.
Rafi,
Yeah,
Mr. Rafi, which one for fire truck?
fire trucks, they use some type of displacement pump, or they use the centrifugal also. But when they need high pressure, they have to go with the positive displacement pump. And those pump requirements have not covered in NFPA 20. NFPA 20 directly says it is only for a stationary fire pump unit. So that is totally out of this case.
Okay.
But again, if you need high pressure, we have to go with the positive displacement pump. Because you know the fire trucks supply, so they need the pressure in high quantity. So that time positive displacement pump may work well for those applications. Now we are going with the basic operating principle of the centrifugal pump. We can see that the purpose of the purpose of the centrifugal pump or the pump is to convert energy of prime mover into velocity or kinetic energy. Right? Let's say the velocity or kinetic energy should be converted into the pressure energy when it is going at the top location. Here we have the liquid I, and here we have the impeller, the opening. At this location, water is entered, and through the impeller, it is rotating like this, right? We can see that at this location, the way it is going at the top side, at the discharge, this is water is going at impeller and then imparting through the volute casing. The water is going from this line, and if you can see that, right? The area of the casing increasing as it is going to the top of the discharge, right? So as the area increases, the velocity decreases and the pressure increases. So all the velocity energy or kinetic energy of the liquid converted to the pressure head or pressure energy, and hence at the discharge we got some high pressure energy that is converted from the kinetic energy or the velocity energy of the water. The energy changes from kinetic energy to the pressure energy. It's occur by virtue of two main parts of the pump, impeller and the volute or diffuser, right? Now, what is the impeller? The impeller is a rotating equipment, a rotating part. We can see here inside we have an impeller. This is a rotating part that convert driver energy into kinetic energy, right? Driver means we are getting energy from the electrical motor or the diesel pump or diesel engine, right? That is connected via shaft to the pump. Now those drivers giving energy to the impeller, and impeller is rotating at high speed, sucking water at the eye, and those water at high velocity, or let's say kinetic energy, that while going at the top of the pump at the discharge, almost all the energy, kinetic energy changes to the uh, pressure at the discharge, right? The volute or diffuser is the stationary part that convert kinetic energy into pressure energy. We studied in the Bernoulli theorem, right? We studied in the Bernoulli theorem as the area increases in the piping, right? The velocity goes down and the pressure goes up. Remember the point? I think I discussed a lot in the hydraulics. This point, the velocity goes down and the pressure goes high, and the pressure goes high. Same concept apply here at the inlet of this areas. The area is less. Area decreases almost, and it is converted to the pressure energy. You guys are there, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So what is, yes, what is a centrifugal force? Now, if you are driving your car at a, at a circular road, let's say over bridge, and you are just turning continuous, you feel that, if you are turning your car and your body is moving into the outward direction, right? You forced to go outside, and at that force that is done by the centrifugal force. If your car is running at high speed into a circle, right, you feel that you are going outward of your car, outside of your car in the other direction. That we call the centrifugal force, and the same centrifugal force concept apply here in also in this arrangement. As water enters into this the impeller, the liquid gets some velocity energy, right? And radially it's moved, right, due to the centrifugal force developed by the impeller. And as it is go at the top of the casing or this array energy or velocity energy converted to the pressure head. This is the concept how this centrifugal pump working. Liquid enters at this location at the low pressure area, and as it is going into this impeller, all the pressure energy, all the velocity or kinetic energy changes to the pressure head. This is how the centrifugal pump works. And there are some of the basics rules for the centrifugal force that we know that the centrifugal force is the kinetic energy. Due to the velocity and the mass of the liquid and the velocity is going, we are getting some kinetic energy. So those kinetic energy, the amount of energy that we are giving to a liquid, right, it is proportional to the velocity at the edge of the vent tip of the impeller. So the faster the impeller rotates, right, the bigger the impeller and the higher the velocity at the liquid. So the higher the velocity, the higher it is converted to the pressure energy, and we are getting the higher pressure. So why, if you are a pump company who is manufacturing a pump of high capacity, right, they need higher pressure and higher flow. The impeller size is also changed based on the flow to flow. The impeller size they also change, and those how to read speed, all those things for the pump. We are going to discuss all those points in fire protection design and under the fire pump design course in the last, maybe the second last module of this 3-month program. We'll discuss what are the different factors for the designing of those systems. So the higher the pressure requirement, the higher the diameter of the impeller, right? We need the higher diameter impellers to need high pressure energy at the end of the this side. A centrifugal pump has two components, right? It's have a rotating component, which is impeller, and the shaft, right? The shaft connected from the pump, sorry, from the motor or from the diesel engine or from the turbine engine, means any kind of the. And the second component, second is that the stationary component, the fixed component, like casing cover and bearings. If you can see, this is a centrifugal. This look like a centrifugal pump and suction type in suction pump. Why you call in suction pump? Because you know the suction coming from this side, and at here it ends, and the discharge is going perpendicular. So the suction and discharge is the perpendicular to each other. We call this kind of arrangement as in suction pump. Now here we have the motor. This side we have the motor, and the motor is connected by the shaft to the pump. The shaft is coming to this pump, the shaft rotating the impeller. The impeller is this side. Okay, the impeller rotates at some speed, getting the water from the suction piping and converting all the velocity, kinetic energy to the pressure head at the outlet at this side, which is we with this one we call the discharge head. This is the basic equipment and operating equipment of the suction. Bearing support the load of the system, and also it makes shaft to rotate easily without any issues in the system. So different types of the pump arrangement are there. There are the in suction top discharge and top suction top discharge. If you can see the figure in next slide, here we have a in suction pump, right? You can see that this is the suction line coming to the pump, and this is a discharge line going upward. This is the one arrangement, right? And there is this arrangement called side suction top discharge, and this one top suction and top discharge means the suction is also from the top line, and discharge is also going from this one. So the water coming from this line and coming to the impeller and going to this side. So this is the two of the arrangement of the suction and discharge nozzle for the in suction pump. For the centrifugal pumps, right? This is a shaft, right? This is a shaft, and this is the eye of the impeller. This is a vein from this inside water entering, and it is rotating at high speed. The gland packing and the packing ring, this all mechanical equipment parts of the pump. While designing this system, the pump manufacturing company shall have the enough knowledge, you know, to fit this system, and who is working with the testing and maintenance. They have to be very careful regarding all those functioning of these parts, like you know, the gland packing and the packing, which getting heated due to time. All those things they have to be careful while doing the operation of the system. So moving on to the rotating components, right? We have the impellers, with impeller rotate at high speed and generating the centrifugal acceleration to the fluid, right? And they are often classified in many ways based on the direction of flow or based on the suction type. The flow can be radial flow, axial flow, or mixed flow. And based on the suction type, there should be single suction, liquid inlet on one side, and double suction means there are impellers symmetrically from the both side. Means double suction pump is like that. You know, suppose this is one impeller, and the impeller, you know, in this impeller, water is coming from both the side, from one side and from the second side. and then this is going to the discharge line. This is a double suction impeller, and this is a single suction impeller. Most of the case we are going to use the the single suction impeller in the fire protection system. Now the impeller types. There are different types of the impellers. We have the open impellers, we have the closed impellers, and we have the semi open impellers. The advantage of the closed impellers over the open impellers is that in the closed impellers we are getting the higher advantage of hydraulic characteristics like pressure and flow compared to the open impeller. And now the design of the impeller, the design of the impeller is very much critical for getting the pressure and the flow. Suppose we need the higher the flow, right? The higher the flow, the higher the diameter of the impellers, right? If you need more pressure and more pressure at higher flow, let's say we need 4,000 GPM, 4,000 GPM fire pump at 150 psi. That's a big pump, right? So in that case, the impeller size will be very big compared to a pump with 500 GPM at some 150 psi. So the higher the flow pressure and from the capacity of the pump, the size of the impeller varies with the pressure and the velocities. Sorry, pressure and the flow. Now the coupling, here we have the coupling, right? The coupling we call how to connect from the motor to the centrifugal pump, right? To this arrangement. To connect this one, we need a shaft, and that shaft should be connected by a coupling, right? The coupling can compensate for axial growth of the shaft and transmit torque to impeller, right? Shafting can be broadly. There are two types of the coupling. It might be a rigid coupling or might be a flexible shaft coupling. Rigid coupling means totally fixed, right? And there is no possibility of room for the misalignment. Now, what is the misalignment? Is that the misalignment is that this is our shaft, okay, and it yeah, must be aligned. Yes, if this is connected, yeah, must be aligned. Sorry. This must be aligned. There is no chances there is any kind of the misalignment or any kind of the flexibility in that one. But with the flexible coupling, we have some option to some kind of the flexibility we have from the flexible coupling, that if there is a misalignment in between the shaft from the motor and to the impeller, it can be managed by the flexible coupling. Now we are coming to different types of the pump, right? As for NFPA 20, we have different types of the centrifugal pumps. We have horizontal split case, vertical turbine, in suction, vertical inline, and multi-stage multi-port pump. We'll discuss all those centrifugal pump one by one. The first one is the horizontal split case pump. What is this? The split case? That this pump, while doing the maintenance from this side, from this side, for doing the maintenance, we can totally take the top side like a split case, and we can do the maintenance, right? We can split the top side from this one totally, and we can do the maintenance, right? So the advantage of the split case is that this is available in the higher flow and head range. We can go up to 5,000 GPM with this pump, and the flow pressure will go also high. The first one. And for the maintenance purpose, right? For the maintenance purpose, we can maintain this inside parts of the pump like impeller and all without disturbing the piping or driver. So in this side we don't have to do anything. We just have to take this one outside and do the maintenance. And this pump is available by electrical driver and the driver also. We don't have any problem. Now What is the problem with the horizontal pump? It is the best choice, best choice when you have higher demand and higher flow, higher pressures. But again, if you have flow, less flow, your demand is not so high, and the space you are installing that in a mechanical room that is very small. We have to be very careful regarding that because the floor space requirement. In a large, this pump required a higher area, more area for the installation. That is a problem that we cannot install in area where we have only a limited space, right? It's the costly one, right? It is very costly because this pump require lots of arrangement and all, and difficult to service, right? Now coming to the vertical turbine pumps, right? The vertical turbine pump is the only pump, which work under the negative suctions, right? If the So this pump we are using in place where we have negative suction. Where we have negative suction, we have only limited with one. But NFPA says that the if water coming to a pump, right, from the suction side, at the suction side, right, at the suction gauge, the pressure shall not be below 0 psi. If the pressure goes below 0 psi, means there is a negative suction condition inside that one, and maybe there will be air trapped into the system, and it causes cavitations. Cavitation is not good for the centrifugal fire pump. It will damage the impeller, reduce the capacity and performance pump. So if we have underground network, underground storage tank, and above that we have the pump, we have only one option: vertical turbine pump. Right? It operates under the suction lift. Right? We have the suction lift. We can use that one. This pump we cannot use under a negative suction because we need prime. What is the prime meaning? Meaning of the prime is that, let's say this is the suction side. Okay, it should be flooded suction. If the water comes from this side, water is always available at the pump, right? We call it the prime. That without any manual means the water is coming automatically here due to the positive pressure. If the tank is at this location bottom, it cannot come easily because it takes some time to suck the water from the underground tank to this suction side. And what will happen by coming there will be there is some space, there is no water, and air will also come along with that one. Those air and water mixed together coming to the impeller side, it will damage the pump, and there might be problem with the cavitation. There will be problem with the cavitation, and there should be it is not allowed. So we have only one option left with the vertical turbine pump, where we have the underground network, underground fire pump. This is the in suction pump. What is the meaning of in suction pump? That suction coming from this side, okay, suction coming from this side, and it ins here, and then discharge going this side. So it's a perpendicular 90-degree, right? But this is available only up to 750 GPM. The capacity of this pump is only 750 GPM, not more than that. So if we have less demand, only a small capacity fire protection system required, we can go with the in-suction pump, because this pump also need only less space. If we have problem with the space in the mechanical room, and our demand is only below 750 GPM or up to 750 or 1000 GPM, we can go with this pump. We don't have any issue with that one. And this is very common in the commercial application where we need very limited, very low the flow and pressure. We don't need so much for the big facilities. Like we can go with the in-suction pump.
Mr. Ravi, this is the best, right?
No, this is the best only. This is the best only up to 750 GPM. Right. If we need more flow, if you know a pump of higher capacity, we have to go with the in-suction pump. Sorry, we have to go with the no, this one horizontal split case. This one, very less space in your mechanical room. This will take only less space for installation inside the mechanical room. This is the one advantage, and the cost is also low compared to the split case. And also when your demand is only very limited, like your demand is only 750 GPM, this pump capacity is only up to 750 GPM. So it's the best choice in the commercial application where we have only limited amount of water required, not more than 1000 GPM or 1500 GPM. So we cannot find this kind of the pump in like a Sabic and Aramco and all those locations, because this capacity is very limited. The most common in the in the commercial applications, and where you don't have more space in the mechanical room, we can keep this pump. Of course, the cost of the pump and the maintenance will be easy compared to the split case pump. And this is the last one. We call it vertical inline fire pump. Yeah, this is not common, right? It is very compact, serviceable, reliable, and cost effective, and it is available up to 1500 GPM. So what is the beauty of that? The motor sit on this the pump only. So we don't have, if we have a space requirement in some rooms, we can use this pump. And but this is only available with the electrical drive only. We cannot go for the mechanical drive with this pump. So we discussed, yeah.
Mr. Ravi, all pump, electrical and diesel, except last one, right?
Yeah, express last one, vertical inline pump.
Okay.
Now coming to the multi-stage multi-port pump, right? The multi-stage multi-port pump, we need in location where we need high pressures. Pressure is so high. Like let's say we need 250 GPM or 250 PSI or 350 PSI. So what is the beauty of that? This is the primary. This can be primarily used for high-rise building. High-rise building require multiple zones, right? What is the arrangement of that? You can see in this pump there is two suction. This is the one suction. This is another suction. And a multi-stage pump has multiple impellers, not only one impeller. It should be multiple impellers. As water passes from one impeller to the next, the pressure increases. Suppose from suction side, water coming to one impeller, the water given that impeller increase the pressure to 100 psi. Now that 100 psi from one suction side of the impeller going to the other discharge, and that may go up to 200 psi. So this is an alternative to the series connection of the pump, right? When a pump is connected in the series, let's say this is one pump and this is another pump, okay, and these two pumps are connected to the series connection required to increase the pressure, right? And the parallel connection required to increase the flow. That we'll discuss in a while. What I am trying to say that if we want, in a high-rise building, they might need the series connection. That one fire protection system will go only up to 12th floor. After that, we need another tank and another pumping roof to push the water to the other level after the 12th floor. In some cases, we can use the multi-stage multi-port pump. What is the beauty of that? From the one impeller, suppose this is the suction side, okay? The water coming from this suction to this impeller, okay? And this impeller increases some pressure, and now this is going to this impeller, the second impeller. Now it's further increase the pressure. There is a two impeller, right? Two stage or three stage. the most advanced one for the high-rise building application. And the last one is the positive displacement pump. Positive displacement pump, as I discussed in the beginning, that is only most common found in water mist application or foam application, where we have less flow and high pressure requirement. They take a fixed amount of water in each unit. Let's say they take some fixed amount of water and they are and increasing the pressure. The flow is very less and pressure is so high. In the foam system, let's say this is a pump, okay. This is a water pipeline, and in that we want to inject foam. So there's a pressure is 150 psi at this location, right? And we need higher pressure to put the foam inside the system, right? So pushing the foam into that with pressure, we need some pump with high pressure, right? But the centrifugal pump has higher flow and higher pressure. We don't need high flow in this condition because we know that foam application required only 1%, 1% or 3% or 6% of the foam. So remaining 99 or 97 or 94% is the water. So we need only a small amount of the foam into the water. The foam water mixed together, making some foam blanket for the fire protection purpose of the liquid for the liquid fire or chemical fire. That is the other part. So in that case, we are using the positive displacement pump that we are not going to discuss in detail because this pump is very limited for the fire protection system. Expect that a water mist or foam application system. So you guys want to go for the prayer?